Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make these 3 anniversary cards with your Cricut. And when I create card designs, I create them so that you can make them just using your standard cutting mat and any paper that you have. So you don't need the card mat or card inserts to make these. But if you do have a Cricut Joy or you want to use the card mat with the card inserts, I'm also going to show you how you can do this as well. And the supplies that you're going to need to make these anniversary cards are a Cricut machine with your standard cutting mat, or any other cutting machine like a Silhouette is also going to work with these designs. A light to medium weight cardstock and multiple colors. And I've also left recommendations for my favorite cardstocks for making cards in the description in case you need any suggestions. You'll need a scoring wheel or a scoring stylus, Cricut pens, and glue. And you're also going to need to grab the free anniversary card templates, which you'll download from my blog at svgnation.com. And I've left a link in the description that's going to take you directly to that post for you to download them. And so these first 2 cards are going to follow the exact same steps for editing and assembling. So I'm only going to show you how to assemble one of these in the video, and then we're going to do the pop-up card next. So once you have your SVG file downloaded from my site, go ahead and upload it to Cricut Design Space. And you're going to add that to your canvas. And the first thing I'm going to show you what to do is how you can convert these images to use with card inserts in case you have like a Cricut Joy or you want to use a card mat. You're not going to need this layer right here, so we can go ahead, unless you do want a different color, but most of the cards come with the inserts, so you usually don't need to cut out your own insert. I'm also going to ungroup these. We can actually just delete that. Okay, so all you're going to do is you're just going to go to your Shapes tool and select your square, and you're going to need to cover this entire image, including these lines right here. And you just want to barely cover them. You want to make sure it goes over them, but just a little bit. And then you're going to drag this. And if you need to make it so it's a rectangle, then you'll need to click this unlock. You'll need to unlock your proportions so that way you can drag both up and down. So we just want those covered. Okay, once you have that covered, using your shift key, like hold that down while you select both of these layers, and then you're just going to slice. Okay, from here, don't drag your layers because you want to leave them lined up with this pen layer, but go ahead and delete this layer right here because you're not going to need this. You're not going to need this top layer, and these 2 layers are the exact same, so it really doesn't matter which one you keep. I'm going to drag the pen layer on top. And so for this layer, this is going to be where you use your Cricut pen, so you do need to change this right here in your operation. You're going to need to go and change this to pen. And then you're going to need to select both of your layers and attach these together. And then when you go to make it, you're going to select your card mat, or if you have the Cricut Joy, you'll select those options. And as you see, you now have an image right here, and you can move this like if you're just right up here so it goes in the right spot. And now your Cricut's going to write and cut on this exact spot on your card that you insert right here. And you can make 4 different cards at the same time, which is nice. And any of the cards that you find on my blog that are designed in this way with the insert, you can use this trick to use them with your Cricut Joy or the Cricut insert cards. But for this tutorial, I'm actually going to make them using my Cricut Explorer with the standard mat. So we'll go ahead and get started with that. And like I said, these 2 are the exact same as far as editing them and assembling them. So I'm only going to make the one right now and then the pop-up card. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need to do is ungroup your layers. And then if you want to add a score line, if you have a scoring tool, I definitely recommend this. Otherwise, you can fold the card in half. But when you make the pop-up card, it's going to be really important that you do have a scoring tool. We're just going to go to our shapes right here, and you're going to see your score line right here. We'll just drag that to the length of the card and kind of bring it towards the middle. And now select both your line and your card together and just go to align, and you're just going to center those horizontally so it's in the middle. And we can kind of move that down so it's the length of the card. Okay, and now this layer right here, this is going to be where your Cricut pen draws on the card. So you do need to change this right here in your operation from basic cut to pen. And once you've done this, select your score line, your pen, and your card layer, all three together, and go ahead and attach those together. If you don't attach them, then your Cricut's not going to write and cut and score in the right places. And this is all the edits that we need to make. This card is ready to go. So just click on Make It. And we're just doing this on your standard mat. And whenever you're using different tools, one thing that you want to look for is that you see them listed here. So we see that we are going to score, and we see the score line is in the correct spot. If it's not in the correct spot, it's not going to score where you want it to score. And we also see that we're using a pen and that the pen layers are in the correct spot. So everything on here looks good, and we've got our insert on a different color because I do want a different color for the insert. So we're going to go ahead and continue this. When using multiple tools like the scoring stylus and pens, you're going to need to make sure to pay attention to the prompts and design space. That way you know when to add each tool. So for the first prompt, I'm going to add the scoring stylus. And once the scoring is finished, you're going to get another prompt to add your pen. So once you add this pen, all you need to do is press on the flashing Cricut button on your machine, and the writing process is going to continue. And since the pen is the last tool we need for this project, the Cricut is automatically going to cut it once it's finished writing, so there's nothing else you need to do. And then once your card and insert piece are cut out, carefully remove these from your mat. And to prevent ripping or curling of your paper, you're going to want to roll the mat off of your cardstock, and it's going to easily come off this way. And then just use your scraper to scrape off the extra pieces. This card is super easy to assemble. All you need to do is fold the card in half. And if you have a brayer, this is a great tool to help you get a really deep fold in your card. So just another great use for this. And then all you need to do is add your insert. So it's super easy. And this card is going to fit in a 4x6 envelope. If you want to make your own, I have envelope templates on my blog. I'll go ahead and leave the link in the description so you can easily find those there if you want them. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and show you how to assemble the pop-up card and any edits that you need to make in Design Space. So we're going to go ahead and add this card to our canvas. And from here, you want to go ahead and ungroup all of your layers. And this one already has the score lines set for you, but you do need to change them to score lines. So I'm going to just walk you through which lines you need to change and what text you need to change to pen. Right here, you're going to need to ungroup this group as well. This is the front of our card, so go ahead and ungroup this. And this line right here, it's kind of hard to see here, but if you hide it, you see which line it is. It's the one that goes right here across the front of the card. You need to change this line right here to score. And then you need to click on this text right here, the text that says it's always been you. And you need to go ahead and change this to pen. And one thing that I forgot to mention is depending on what pen you're using, you can change your different pens, and you can see what different pen types look like in here if you want like a thicker or a different color. But for this project, I am just using the 0.4 millimeter black pen, which is the default, which is why I left it set there. And this is the pen that came with my machine, so you likely have this pen as well. But you can use whatever pen you want. And once you've changed this right here to pen and this right here to score, you need to select both of these and your card layer together, and just hold down Shift, and that's going to allow you to select multiple layers, and then go ahead and attach these together. And guys, if you do like using Cricut pens, I have a full tutorial on my blog on using pens and different fonts that are free for you to download that work well with writing. So I'll leave the link for that for you guys as well. That way you can learn a little more about pens if you want to. But now we have this layer and this part of the card ready to go. So we're just going to click on the inside of our card, and this is the pop-up layer, and we need to ungroup this as well. And all of these lines right here, they are grouped together, so you can just click on the top right here. These are all going to be score lines, and it's really important to have a scoring tool for this, or it's going to be really difficult for you when you go to assemble this. But having the score lines and having them already scored so you can easily fold is going to make this project so much easier. You are going to struggle with this if you do not have a scoring tool. And then right here, these words, always will be and happy anniversary, they're on one layer together. You're just going to change those to your pen as well. And now all you need to do is select your pen layer, your score layer, and of course your card layer, and attach those together. And that's all you need to do for this card, and it is ready to go. So just go ahead and click Make It, And we will be using a standard mat for this. This one's going to be too big to use with your Joy. It's not going to work. The pop-up cards need to be a little bit bigger. Otherwise, you can't really get a message on the inside of the card. So you are going to need a standard mat and a Cricut Explorer or Maker for this, or Silhouette or any other similar machine. So we're just going to click our mat and we're going to go ahead and continue. And everything looks good on the layers. You do want to double check, make sure all your score lines are where they should be and your text. And so everything looks good, so we can go ahead and cut and make this card. Follow the prompts on your Cricut for when to add your scoring tools and pen. And if you're using the scoring stylus, make sure that you really pay attention to the prompts, because you're going to go back and forth between the scoring stylus and the pen once you put that second piece of paper in there for to cut. And then once your project is finished cutting, go ahead and assemble your card. Start by folding the outside of your card in half on the score lines, and then just glue the heart to your front. And then next, you're going to want to fold on all the score lines for the inside piece of the card. You'll fold below and above the text, "I love you," and you're also going to fold along the parts where the heart extends out. And if you do not have a scoring tool, then you're going to want to view the design in Cricut Design Space so that you can see where all the folds should be, and go ahead and fold on those places. Having this part already scored is going to make such a big difference. It's going to be so much easier to assemble, so I highly recommend scoring it with your Cricut machine. The scoring stylus is very inexpensive and can be used on both the Explorer and Maker models, so it's just a good tool to have anyway. And once you've folded on all the score lines, you're going to pull out the words "I love you" so that they're in their pop-up position, and pull out the hearts as well. And once you have the card how it's going to be, then you can go ahead and glue it into the inside of your card. And if you are having trouble with this, make sure that you are using a light to medium cardstock. If you're using a heavy cardstock, it's going to be very difficult to fold these pieces out. It's just not going to move as easily. So it's really important that for this part, you kind of have a light to medium cardstock. And I have left recommendations in the description if you need help finding a good paper for this. And when you glue this inside of the part to your card, make sure that you do not glue down the pop-up pieces. You want to leave the words and the hearts detached so they can easily pop out of the card. And once you have all of this glued down, go ahead and pull out the pop-up pieces so that they're in place, and then just fold your card in half so you can get a really good fold on everything. And then that's all there is to it. This card's ready to go. You just got to add your own little sweet message inside. And this one fits a 5x7 envelope, and I also have an envelope template for this size as well. So if you want to make your own envelope, you can find that link to the templates in the description. And if you guys have any questions on assembling any of these cards, just leave them in the comments and I'll answer them there. And also leave a comment and let me know which one of these designs is your favorite. And before you go, don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!